The views and opinions of this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers. There is substantial risk of loss in trading futures and options, which you should carefully consider prior to trading. Well, as we near the end of the week of trade, let's get a look at some of the movement in the cattle markets, as well as take a look over at the wheat complex. That's been under some pressure from weather here as of late, both here at home and some of the issues in the Black Sea region tied to weather and just the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. Let's get caught up on things. Joining us, Brady Huck with Advanced Trading and ATI Pro Media. Brady, it is good to talk with you again. How's things in Kansas?
We're wet, Jesse, and I love it. I love it. April showers, they're going to bring May flowers for us, hopefully, out here. So love the moisture. Just had a great rain out here. Going to be huge for the wheat crop, Jesse.
Well, let's talk about that wheat crop. Let's start there before we go over to the cattle side. And you were mentioning this to me, obviously getting that good rain in wheat country, and that's been part of, I think, some of this price action here as of late, moving lower, even with a U.S. dollar breaking. You'd think that make U.S. wheat more competitive, but seems like weather and then some of those overseas factors have been weighing into this entire wheat complex, Brady.
Right, yeah. Great rain event here recently. The market's, kind of been getting ahead of that a little bit, pricing some of that in as that wheat market sold off. So this rain hasn't been good for your markets, but you certainly got to be thankful for it if you're out here in wheat country on the production side of things. Going into this, we had about a third of the U.S. hard red wheat crop was under drought stress, and we can handle drought on a wheat crop until we get into key production time frame of April, May, June, and those rainfalls in this time frame are what make a crop. And I don't know that this rain, made the crop, but it almost certainly prevents it from being a disastrous crop going forward. So we'll live on this moisture for a while, and we'll be able to. But the production potential for U.S. hard red winter wheat just jumped up here this week. So if you're in the bull camp, though, Jesse, got to be, looking at, like you said, the U.S. dollar breaking. That's kind of somewhat supportive for wheat prices. Looking at the EU, we've got some production risk in the European Union with about 70% of their crop drier than normal going forward. So we'll have to watch there if you're in the bull camp.
Well, and it just feels like this wheat market too. I mean, if you think about some of the chart action and more, we're getting down to some, pretty low levels here, kind of some near some contract lows and more. And you have to think that, those are going to hold, we presume, and then we can maybe try to get a bounce off of that. But seasonality in the entire grain complex right now is kind of the time where we chop around a bit, isn't it, Brady?
Right. Yeah, definitely opportunities here as we progress through the marketing year. As more things become less uncertain, they become more certain, and the market likes that and can sell off and get comfortable with where we're at. So seasonally, got some opportunities here. It's kind of go time, and you got to be opportunistic going forward. But after a dollar sell off in wheat that we've seen, KC wheat was 650 plus a month or two ago, and now here we are, just under 550 on Kansas City wheat. So a dollar sell off. A guy wants to get bullish here after that type of move, but it's really you got to have some multiple dominoes to line up together to get that bull rally, and we're running out of some of those bullets, I guess, Jesse.
That's a good point. Let's go over to that cattle trade. I want to talk to you about that. You mentioned to me the rain is making things fun there in your feedlot, and I'm sure other folks across the Central Plains. But you take a look at this cattle market as a whole. I know cash activity. There's been some interesting moves there as of late, and futures a little bit of a breather Thursday. What's your assessment of what this cattle trade is doing right now, Brady?
I think all the fundamentals are still very supportive on the cattle market right now, Jesse. We've got tight inventory, and I think it's just going to get tighter as we go forward. We're starting to look at heifer retention and talk about heifer retention. So, I'm in the bull business as, a side note from my futures and options gig working with producers on risk management. We raise bulls, and our family does. And we've gotten a lot of calls this year about, hey, do you have any heifers? Do you know where I can find some heifers? That's happening. And all the data out there that people look at often trails reality. So we'll get a July inventory report that's going to, show still tight beef cow numbers, but I think we're on the back end of that tightness, and we're going to start rebuilding. When you look at what feeder steers bring out there in the country, that's enabling a lot of these ranchers to go out and pay bills, put that cash in the bank, and keep on some of those heifers to rebuild for the future if the moisture comes. And we've had a great rain. That's going to bring green grass and optimism out there in cow-calf country. So we love the moisture, and I'm optimistic that this market will continue to hold on because consumers love beef, and it's inelastic demand out there. Got to watch out for the black swan that could come wreck the party and ruin the party. But I think those numbers, we're starting to alleviate some of that supply concern, and we're going to be rebuilding for the future ahead.
And looking at that cash trade too, specifically, seeing some bids this week, 214, 215 live and 340 plus in the north. I mean, we just continue to tick some of these bids higher. I know last week we saw some 212 bids passed, for instance. So, I mean, that cash market continues to be fairly robust in both the north and the south, Brady, it looks like.
Yeah, the Packers definitely are hand to mouth right now. And as we get into green grass and grilling season, they're going to fill orders, fill demand, and that's going to dictate, their slaughter place and the cutout, and that consumer demand pool is going to dictate the fluctuations on cash. And we've seen some big jumps on cash, some jumps and some breaks, and they change week to week, can be very volatile out there. Producers got to, pay attention to that. And it's bullish until it's not. And as you enter green grass and grilling season, I'm optimistic of this thing holding together. If the economy does, if we don't have headline risk out there, some of that type of stuff that could come ruin the party. But the Packer is going to be hand to mouth, and that's going to dictate and might see some significant ebbs and flows on what those cash bids are week to week.
Brady, any final thoughts you would have for folks here today? Just risk management thoughts in general, either grains, livestock, anything else you're paying attention to as we near the end of the month?
I think when it comes to, grain farmers specifically, you got to be opportunistic out there going forward. There's, like we said earlier, there's more things becoming certain about this crop on the production side every day we progress. We got a nice rain, the planting pace is there. How will that, are we going to get worried about that going forward? I'm not too concerned yet. I think guys need to be opportunistic if the market rallies and present some opportunity to go out there and manage risk down the road, Jesse.
Brady, I know folks have questions. They could reach out to you there at Advanced Trading. They could also watch every weekday on the ATI YouTube channel as well. Tell us a little bit more about all that.
Yep, live at 9 on YouTube and on X. We stream every morning, bringing you the latest market info, and it's live, and you can interact with us. The funnest part of it, Jesse, is being able to interact with the comments out there as we are live streaming and answer questions, talk about what's going on in your markets. So go jump on over to the Advanced Trading YouTube, follow us on X, and catch up with what we got to say every morning live at 9.
And if folks want to reach out with questions for you to talk about their marketing, Brady, what's the best way?
Yep. Call me 309-664-2346, and I'll be glad to visit with you. Thanks, Jesse.
Brady, you bet. Brady Huck with Advanced Trading. Good to talk with you again. Have a great weekend, my friend. We'll have you back on again soon.
You too. See you.
Make sure to subscribe to the Market Talk YouTube channel. You can watch our latest interviews with top market analysts in the country, find bonus content, and much more. It's easy. Just go to youtube.com/@MarketTalkAg and hit the subscribe button. Or you can search for Market Talk Ag on YouTube.